Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This, of course, is my first video since we got back from our European trip, which is about 2 weeks ago now, I think. Yeah, we arrived back on Tuesday, so yeah, 2 weeks ago today. Anyway, been too busy with other stuff to be making videos or editing videos. Anyway, I was away at the weekend, and reasons for that will become clear. Here we are leaving the charming town of Llanberis, North Wales, Snowdonia National Park. I have good reasons to be here. I used to live here, in fact, in Llanberis itself, amongst other places, for around about 7 or 8 years, back in the early part of this century, 2001, 2007 or 8 or something like that. The details are a blur. Anyway, I had a weekend to myself for reasons that I will now explain. The Murgatroyd and family have recently had a new addition to the family, a young lady called Daisy. And Daisy was born while we were away in Europe, and Murgatroyd has taken the opportunity to spend her last weekend off before returning to work by spending it with her family in Manchester. I felt like I would be a spare part in that, and so I decided to come to North Wales, and I'm having a fabulous time. Yesterday was a bit of a grind getting here. I had planned to camp in Llanberis itself on Friday night, but didn't make it. There was a nasty accident, nasty accident on the M6 between junctions 28 and 27, and I kind of got caught up in that and had to make a fairly lengthy diversion to get back onto the motorway at junction 26, which delayed me by about 2 hours. I realised it was going to be dark by the time I got to Llanberis, and so I went on pitchup.com and found myself a campsite about 30 miles short of Llanberis. It turned out to be a fabulous thing. It's a wonderful campsite, and I will be going back at some point in the future to do an entire piece on it. But just briefly, it's a very small campsite. The facilities are basic, which is what I like. You get to camp in little wooded glades, and it's all very almost wild camping. There are toilets and showers, but that's about it. However, when I turned up at the reception, the guy who runs the campsite wanted to show me the 2 motorcycles that he had sitting in the kind of conservatory area of the campsite of his house. One of them being what he claimed was one of the very last, if not the very last, original Indian motorcycle ever to be produced. It was practically immaculate. It had got about 800 miles on the clock and just looked absolutely pristine. He reckons it's been valued at £120,000. If I had that sort of money, I would not be buying one motorcycle. I'd be buying 10 or 12 or 15. Anyway, lovely guy, lovely campsite, and as I say, I will be going back and I'll do an entire video on that campsite. So anyway, I arrived in Llanberis on Saturday around about lunchtime. I rode down the pass that I'm currently riding up and arrived in the centre of Llanberis outside the Spa shop, and was met by 3 motorcyclists who'd just come down the pass, one of whom, he told me, had been off motorcycles for 15 years and then gone out and bought himself a huge Aprilia sports bike and promptly threw it down the Llanberis Pass. He said because his talent just ran out. He was attempting a overtake on a bend apparently and had to put the bike on the ground. There was a substantial amount of damage to the front fairing. The headlights were smashed, the indicator was smashed, and I was delighted to be able to offer them some proper duct tape to patch it all up. At that time they were using parcel tape that they bought from the Spar shop, so they were very grateful for that, and it's always good to help out. So, couple of shouts out. Actually more than a couple. So a big shout out to my friend Andy Dodd. He was one of the reasons I came to visit Wales. I've not seen him for a year or so. Andy is one of my long-time climbing partners and thoroughly good friend. We've known each other since, I don't know, 1980, 1981. And it was really good to catch up with him. I'm actually going to stay at his house when I finish riding around the mountains here today. Another shout out to Scarlett. Hello, Scar. Scar is the Murgatroyd's granddaughter. She's always complaining that whilst she watches all of my videos, she never gets a shout out. Well, you can't say that anymore, can you, Scar? A shout out to Kaylee and Dan. Thanks for the feedback on the videos. You have been heard. And a shout out to my eldest son, Benji Mouse. Hello, Benji Mouse. Hope you're enjoying the new motorcycle. I've just been overtaken. Damage to ego? Damage level 0. He's on a big sports bike. I'm on a 650 with 46 brake horsepower. I don't have an ego about this stuff anymore. Anyway, Llanberis Pass. Beautiful place. I find myself drawing comparisons between the mountain passes in the Lake District and the mountain passes here. Now generally, and you can hear the broom of sweeping generalisations, but generally mountain passes in Wales are tamer. Not so twisty, not so steep, but the payoff there is that the road is in far better condition than any of the roads, the mountain passes in the Lake District. Compare this to the Hard Knot Pass, and I've seen one pothole so far on the way up this pass. In Hard Knot Pass, for example, you'd be bouncing around all over the place. It swings and roundabouts. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful place. I have many, many memories of this valley. Lots and lots of rock climbing that I've done here, lots of hill walking that I've done, starting from this valley. And it's a valley that means a great deal to me, historically. So anyway, I'm going to stop with the jibber jabber for now. Relax and enjoy the ride. So here we are approaching the summit of the pass, and it's about to get really busy. There'll be cyclists all over the place, there'll be people waiting for buses back down the pass, there'll be people getting off buses coming up the pass. This really is tourist central. This is essentially the foot of Snowdon, the highest mountain in England and Wales, and it really is going to get quite busy. Look at that bus. Anyway, we're going to get to the top of the pass and end the video there. There's a bit of a nice descent on the way down, which will appear in the next video, and we'll get to that fairly soon. So a couple of words then by way of closing about why this video has a voiceover and not my usual in-helmet microphone thing going on. Now, as I'm fond of pointing out every time I do it, every last one of us, regardless of how clever, how stupid, how intelligent we might be, is capable of doing stupid. I did stupid on this weekend twice. Here's how it happened the first time. When I went to get the batteries for the Osmo Action, this incidentally is filmed on the GoPro, I thought that I'd forgotten the battery pack, which was stupid. What was even more stupid was when I got home and started searching the house for where I might have left the battery pack, and having checked every possible place it could have been, I realised that the only place left that it could be was in the stuff I'd taken away with me. Now, I normally put all of my camera gear in the same place. Not this time. I stupidly put not only the batteries for the Osmo Action 4, but also my SD card container inside the drone. Now, the drone bag didn't come out for the entire weekend because it was a little bit too windy, but that's where I'd put the things I normally put in the sensible place, which is in the same place as the Osmo Action 4. So that explains that. The video for Ogwyn that's going to be coming up next is also going to have a voiceover, and I've made myself now a checklist which is being printed off currently and laminated, and so I won't be making that stupid mistake again, as long as I remember to use the checklist. Anyway, we're now heading downhill towards the charming little village of Capel Currig, and the next section will appear in the next video. So, thanks to everybody who's watched. Like and subscribe. Stop recording.